NXT took place tonight in Orlando, Florida from the WWE Performance Center, and this show was hyped up to be the go-home show to Worlds Collide, which is this Saturday from the Kia Forum in Inglewood, California, Los Angeles. Now, the thing about that is there's more main roster talent on that show than NXT, and I feel like NXT is being used too much to promote the show when there's more main rosters talent there. So I think there should be more time devoted on both Raw and SmackDown, and it feels like WWE is just offloading it to NXT, and I don't think that's really fair to NXT, to the stars, to Shawn Michaels, but they did promote the show, and I believe the ticket sales are very good, so I'm actually looking forward to Worlds Collide on Saturday. Now, for this NXT show, we first saw Fatal Influence with the new NXT Women's Champion, JC Jane, arriving with Jasmine Nix and Fallon Henley. We see them arriving at the PC along with Mike Santana and Trick Williams, who are both in the main event tonight. As they arrived, we went to the ring, and we saw Laredo Kid and Javon Evans both in the ring, and then Ethan Page comes out. Shawn Legacy's out next, and I'll be honest, when I saw him, I'm just out of this. I'm thinking, it just feels like a throwaway show. Just all they're doing is promoting Worlds Collide. And we then see the Vanity Project out from Evolve, and also I meant to say, along with promoting Worlds Collide, this was also done heavily to promote Evolve, which is, they just crowned their new Evolve Women's Champion last week, tomorrow night's Evolve. I don't plan on watching it. I don't watch Evolve. I watch 3 shows every week. I review them all. It's enough for me. I don't want to get burnt out, so I just don't care to watch Evolve. But on this show, you had the Vanity Project there to promote the show, and then they're aligned with Ethan Page. It turns into a brawl that's separated, and we get a tag match later in the show. Speaking of tag matches, we got Chase U taking on Dark State. I didn't really care about this, to be honest. I like Chase U, but this reincarnation doesn't have the same feel that the first one did, and it just feels like they're going back to the well too many times. I know they shouldn't have never killed Chase U with giving it to Ridge Holland, who they do nothing with, and I won't be surprised to see him let go very soon. I'm surprised he wasn't let go earlier. But they killed Chase U, and it just feels like, yeah, they're bringing it back, but if they never killed it at first, it would still be it would be a lot harder now than it is if they didn't pull the plug. So, but Dark State won decisively. You had Laredo, Javon Evans, and Shawn Legacy all backstage talking to Ava about what happened, and then Rey Fenix comes in, and they're promoting the match later tonight, and also promoting the Fatal 4-Way at Worlds Collide. He had Sarah Scraber interviewing Trick Williams on his match against Mike Santana later tonight. We see a bunch of ladies from Evolve backstage. I didn't know too many of them. I recognized a couple of them. One of them I think can be a star. I think Lainey Reed, is that her name? I'm not sure. I think she can be a star. She's good looking. But the other ones, I don't know much about them. I just Evolve. The problem with Evolve, WWE signs a lot of these NIL people who I think a lot of them are. The problem is for them is they're also going to bring in a lot of outsiders, already female stars in wrestling. I think you know where I'm going when I get to that later tonight. And they're just going to be completely outshined by them. I mean, we've seen first Julia, then Stephanie Vaquer, then Jordan Grace. All of them are just bigger female stars than some of these NIL girls. But also, I mean, you have Sol Ruka and Kalani Jordan, both NIL talents. Incredible. I think they're both going to be stars, as is Jada Parker. These women I saw from Evolve, no one really stood out except maybe that Reed girl. So you had Ariane Grace come in, talk down to them, trying to give them advice, and it sets up a match with her and the Evolve, I believe it was the Evolve Women's Champ later in the show. Miles Bourne walks backstage with Tavion Heights. Charlie Dempsey is walking into the ring as well. He has Ren Sinclair in his corner. And then we get the rounds match. Miles Bourne against Charlie Dempsey. Miles won round 1. Round 2 is a no decision. Time expires, and then Dempsey hits him with the cheap shot. And then Dempsey takes advantage and wins round 3. Then they go back and forth, but eventually Miles Bourne takes round 4 and wins the match. And then after it, Charlie Dempsey refused to shake his hand. So they're building something. Eventually Dempsey will probably turn very soon. And they'll have a feud. Miles Bourne will come on top, and then he'll go pursue the NXT Championship. You had the culling. They kicked out one of their members. I don't even know who he is. I mean, that guy's probably getting cut. So, yeah. Tyra May Steele, that's her name, faced Ariana Grace. It was just a showcase for her and showcase for Evolve. She won with a German suplex. I don't see much with Ariana Grace. I don't think she's really come around. A lot of these women have developed quickly, others haven't. And she's part of the latter, to be honest. After that, we had the NXT Spotlight on JC Jane and her NXT Women's Championship win last week to shock. We saw all those streamers giving all those reactions, and I was definitely shocked. I'm not going to lie. I mean, there's a lot of times where it's just not believable. This one is a little bit believable because it has to be one of the biggest upsets in NXT history and in WWE history. Backstage, Sarah Schreiber interviewed Mike Santano before his TNA World title match. He repeats basically the same promo as last week. He also says he's fighting for the legacy of TNA. And then business picked up as a great commentator battling cancer, JR says. Best wishes to JR for after he had his cancer surgery. But the reason I said business has just picked up because we got some big news coming out of this segment. So you had Fatal Influence out. JC champion Jasmine, and can I just say this? Can we just admit Fallon Henley is looking smoking hot? Can we just say that? Man, that woman is gorgeous. Anyway, JC's ripping into the fans for not supporting her. They were cheering her at first, but then she immediately turns on them. And I think there was even some people trying to do the "you deserve it," which I don't believe she does. And she talks about how she was always the third wheel. She's obviously referencing toxic attraction. When people knew Mandy was a star, people thought Gigi, which I always thought had more potential than JC. And then she's really mad at them. She's mad at people for doubting her, for not believing in her, and then they're just booing her like crazy now. Then she's interrupted by Lainey Reed, and I think I mentioned her earlier. I don't know if she was the right one who I was talking about, but I've seen a little bit of her. And, she looked really just small and cute. I don't know if I really saw her as a threat, but she interrupts her. I was almost thinking who. Then Lola Vice comes out. She congratulates JC, but she wants her shot. Jordan Grace also wants her shot. She was out next. And Jada Parker comes out next. She says Jordan already had her chance and she wants her shot. Then Kalani Jordan comes out and she just lost to Sol Ruca, but she wants to go for the NXT Women's Championship now. Lash Legend interrupts her and she immediately shuts down Kalani, says nobody cares, which I care. I like Kalani, but Lash Legend shuts her down. And then Thea Hale comes out and she immediately attacks Jada Parker to continue the feud that they've been having after Jada, I think it was a couple weeks ago, just hit her with this random hip attack in the backstage area. It was one of the most unintentionally funny segments I've seen in a while. So eventually it turns into an all-out brawl with the 6 women. As I mentioned, Lola, Jordan, Jada, Kalani, Lash, and Tia. And then eventually they break it up. However, after they do that, the lights go out. And then we see a woman on the platform. And the podium I'm referring to is placed right in the crowd, or right in the first row of the crowd or whatever. So lights come on, they're back on, and she is standing right there. The glamour Mariah May standing on the platform. She announces that the best women's division in the world just got a little more glamorous. Welcome to NXT, Mariah May. Wow. I knew this was coming. I fully expected her to debut this summer. I was almost thinking they might bring her in at the Evolution show to show her that she's there. They might show her in the crowd. That's what they did with Julia when they first signed her. So I was thinking they would do that and then bring her on TV. But this was the way to do it. It was similar to how they brought in Ricky Saints a couple months ago. They had him debut on NXT. Lights go out. He's on the podium. Or he's in the crowd, I believe. Here, she's on the podium. That's what she should be. She's the glamour Mariah May. I'm glad she's here. I'm looking forward to her. She's going to have a great run. She's going to be the queen of NXT, I believe, for about 6 months. I think, or maybe more than that. The end of the year, she should be the number 1 female star in NXT, and then Royal Rumble, then bring her to the main roster. That's what we're going to get. We saw that first with Julia, 6-7 months, NXT, or actually I think it was about 8 months. NXT main roster, Stephanie Vecchier, same thing, about 8 months. Main roster, Jordan Grace, looks like a similar path. She's probably going to the main roster soon, even though she's still technically in NXT. She came after Julia and Vecchier, so she'll eventually go to the main roster next, I believe. And then this should be the same way with Mariah May, and I think Royal Rumble, maybe that's when she is officially on the main roster. That's what they did 2 years ago with Tiffany Stratton. Then Tiffany was actually last year. They brought her in at the Royal Rumble, and then she had that big year. This year, I think the same could happen for Roxanne Perez, who came in at the Rumble, made her debut this year, and next year's Rumble, it makes sense for it to be Mariah May to be in that position. So she's going to be a player here. Glad she's in NXT, and as I said, welcome to NXT, Mariah May. This brand, NXT, and this company, WWE, and the whole women's division on both NXT, Raw, and SmackDown, it all got more glamorous. The glamour Mariah May is officially all WWE. Stevie Turner talks to the Evolve roster backstage with that guy, who I forget his name, who's also Ava's assistant. They're trying to promote a match next week. I believe it's for the Evolve Women's Championship or something. Something's going on, but they heavily promoted Evolve here. They want you to watch it. I'll give them that. I watch too much wrestling. I review 3 shows every week. I can't watch Evolve. Too much commitment. Ethan Page is with his new stable, I believe. The Evolve stable. They head to the ring next. They have Dragon Lee, Rey Fenix, Javon Evans, and Shawn Legacy against Ethan Page and Vanity Project. Dragon Lee gets the win for his team. This means Ethan's probably winning on Saturday, which I already figured. As I said, this was just done to promote both Evolve and to a much more higher extent Worlds Collide on Saturday. Backstage, you see Ava's office, Jasper Troy confronting Goba Femi to set up the match next week, I believe. Solrook and Zuri are walking backstage, and they see Tatum Paxley lying on a production box, and they're talking to her, and Izzy Dame tries to recruit her into the culling, and they already got rid of a member, so I guess it makes sense to add Tatum. I wouldn't mind seeing Tatum go heel. I mean, I know she misses her friends, Shotzi and Gigi, but they ain't coming back. And by the way, I also wanted to mention, this was a news story last week, formerly released female star Cora Jade, now Elena Black, on both the Independents and OnlyFans, made some comments about WWE. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think she really attacked the company, but she talked about she almost died from a pregnancy or something like that. On the Ariel Helwani show, who I'm not a fan of. I hate that guy, to be honest. I never liked him. But, I think, I don't know if she's really upset, but I think she really is someone who can come back. I think she just has to improve on the indies. And I believe she'll come back eventually, but yeah. I don't think going on podcasts and it just seems like she's a little bit better, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. But I think they'll bring her back eventually if she... I thought they would, but if she's going to go on and keep being upset, they might think twice about it. Anyway, after that thing with the calling, you had Tony D'Angelo having a meeting with Luca. They have a taxi match against High Rise next week. Luca says they're really not family anymore, which is interesting. So I guess Luca's turning maybe. They promote next week's show. You have Mike Santana makes his entrance. In the crowd's Elijah, formerly Elias, who wishes him well. He gets the winner. And then when they come back from break, they promote Worlds Collide. Trick Williams is out next, and we get our main event. The TNA Championship defended on an NXT TV show. In the main event, I believe for the first time, Trick Williams and Mike Santana. So here's how this match went. A lot happened, but everyone wants to talk about the ending. Trick had the heat for a while. Then Trick kicked out of a cutter from Santana. He survived a 450 splash, also by Santana, after he grabbed the bottom rope. And the fans are fully behind Santana. And then a whole bunch of shit happens here in the end. So let's go through it. So they're on the outside. Trick confronts Elijah in the crowd, steals his guitar and smashes it. So Elijah goes after Trick, and once he goes after him, it's about to get Santana disqualified, but the refs have to hold Elijah back. All of a sudden, 2 guys pull Santana out of the ring, and I forget who the first guy is. He's some guy with pink hair. I don't know him. And the other guy, I can't believe I'm saying this. I never thought I'd ever see this guy back on WWE television. I don't think anyone ever wanted to. AJ Francis, a.k.a. Top Dollar. Top Dollar. We saw Mr. Top Dollar on WWE TV. Hell has frozen over. I thought we'd see everyone back before Top Dollar. I thought we'd see Vince McMahon again before Top Dollar. Top Dollar's on WWE TV. He chokeslams Santana onto an announce booth, and he's in TNA, and so is the other guy. So they betray Mike Santana. The TNA guys betray their own. Top Dollar chokeslams Mike Santana. I can't believe I'm saying that on NXT. Top Dollar is chokeslamming Santana from like Santana and Ortiz, the Pride, and he's chokeslamming him like through an announce booth didn't break. Gets him back in the ring. Trick hits the trick shot and retains the TNA Championship. So that's how NXT ended tonight. Definitely noteworthy. I was not expecting to see Mariah May. I thought we'd see her eventually. I knew she was coming in. Didn't expect to see her this soon. Wasn't expecting to see the main event end the way it was. And I certainly, in no way, shape, or form, I did not think we'd see Top Dollar. And I don't want to see Top Dollar, to be honest. But we did see Top Dollar, AJ Francis on here. So that's how NXT ended. As I said, the second hour was definitely much more noteworthy and so much better than the first hour, especially with the Mariah May debut in the main event, which was definitely noteworthy, even if you didn't like it. Can't say I wasn't entertained and wasn't surprised by it. The first hour kind of sucked, but I think most people will remember the show for the debut of Mariah May. And as I said, welcome to NXT, Mariah May. NXT, the women's division of NXT, just got a little more glamorous.